Day 5 of these para-alpine skiing races at the FISU 2025 Winter Games. It is the giant slalom for the para-alpine skiing that gets us underway. As always with giant slalom, it's a combined time of 2 runs through alternating blue and red gates. The weather, well, it's clouded over and there is snow due over the weekend. Not sure it's going to come today, but the cloud does mean that the light is pretty flat on the piste, and by flat we mean it's very difficult to see the snow and the bumps and lumps that are coming. Here are the start lists for the women's para-alpine skiing, vision impaired standing and sitting. Getting us underway on day 5 in the para-alpine skiing, Martina Votza in the vision impaired category, world champion, silver medalist in downhill and Super G in 23, bronze medalist in slalom. What a great season she's been having on the World Cup. Podiums in Tignes, Courchevel, Santa Catarina to go with 20 others over the last 4 years. Her guide, Jelena Sabeduzzi, used to race on the FIS Tour, stopped in 2015. And they've been skiing together since 2021. Actual time of 88%. And this is decent work from Martina Votza, who was 4th in the most recent giant slalom on the World Cup. That was in St. Moritz. What was that, about 10 days or so ago. 4th in the first, didn't finish the second GS. But a really exciting skier with plenty of skiing ahead of her, being what, just 21 years old. Was expertly guided down by Sabeduzzi. And you can see the athletes and guide talking to one another, and 1:11:15 the time for Votza. Bib number 2 is Luisa Gruber of Germany with her guide Jordi Maurer. Gruber 32.47, you can see the first split, and Gruber some way slower than Votza. Gruber also a para climber, started that last summer, made a final on the World Cup in Mexico, so a great start to her para climbing career. Has just 2% in her left eye. She's the overall Europa Cup champion from a couple of years ago, narrowly missed out on Beijing. Very keen obviously to make the Paralympic Games next winter in Italy, of course, in Milan. And Gruber and Maurer doing a good job on this first run. And to be back for a second run. Same class as Votza, the AS2, so 88% factored time, so the clock runs just a little bit slower, 16 seconds slower than Votza. So the women's standing giant slalom at the Torino 2025 FISU World University Games about to get underway. Aurélie Richard of France, second in the giant slalom in St. Moritz last weekend. She was 4th in the second in St. Moritz, yes, in the first, and didn't finish in the second. 4th in Courchevel in December, 2nd in the World Cup rankings in Super G. Took the gold medal in that a couple of days ago. Richard, the favourite for this race. But we've seen many a favourite ski out in this Alpine programme so far, and Richard almost gets caught out on the inside ski. Great recovery, all the weight on that left ski, and she almost went down on the inside but somehow managed to pull it back. Really good work from the French racer. Richard making her way down this alternate pattern of red and blue gates. Tucks for the line and stops the clock at 1:12:32. Here is Maria Martin-Granizzo, who was also racing in St. Moritz recently. She was 6th in the first, 4th in the second. Richard won that second one. World champion adaptive surfing as well, and started racing on the World Cup this season in giant slalom. So an athlete that is making her way. Just 18 years of age. So this is her first major competition, and it's all a learning process, a learning curve. And it's doing a good job. Had a 5th of the challenge still to run. Spanish team enjoying a huge amount of success in the men's Alpine program. On the Super G gold, first time they've ever medalled in the men's Super G yesterday. And there was a gold medal until 1:20:42, 8 seconds off the pace of Richard. Audrey Pascual-Secco gets the women's sitting underway, and she was 2nd in the giant slalom in St. Moritz last week, 3rd in Courchevel back in December behind Forster, Maraoka, 2 of the big names in women's sit skiing. But Kilivanta, well, she won the World Cup race in St. Moritz. So the top 2 going head to head here for the gold medal in Bardonecchia. And Pascual-Secco very nicely 34.80 at the split. Into the rhythm of this bottom part of the challenge. Some great angles being achieved by the Spanish racer. You can hear her motivating herself all the way down. Penultimate gates, Pascual-Secco will set a time. Oh, she goes down over the line. That's okay. The time will count. Hopefully she's okay. Yeah, 1:15:37. Nete Kiviranta of Finland now to go. Won her first ever World Cup last weekend in St. Moritz. She was also a forerunner at the Women's World Cup event in Levy as well. And looking to go very nicely indeed here. Kiviranta full of confidence after that win over in St. Moritz, and she's 1.11 the right side of the clock at the split. Really nice skiing from the Finn. Just looks much calmer in the seat. Pascual-Secco before her. Penultimate gate. And yeah, 1.45. Kirivanta, the right side of the clock. Second run set up really nicely here. So let's have a look then at the results at the halfway stage in the vision impaired in the women. Votsa from Gruber and Kordic. In the standing, Richard leads from Martin Granitso and Strang. And then in the sitting, a very tight race between Kiviranta and Pascual Secco, which will be fascinating to see how that pans out. And getting us underway, it's going to be Karla Kordic of Croatia. You can see the microphones coming out the helmet. That's how they communicate. And we are going. The second run of the women's giant slalom in the Para-Alpine underway. Karla Kordic of Croatia, the first out of the start hut with a factor time of 96%. So if you're watching Para-Alpine for the first time, the clock runs 96% slower, and the time you're seeing on the screen is the factored time. There isn't a calculation once they finished it. The calculation runs in real time, as it were. As for Kordic, in terms of what she's been up to this season, she's been racing in some FIS slalom races in Austria in December 4th and 6th there. Doesn't compete on the World Cup yet, unlike Martina Votsa, who is the quickest after the first run. Now, Jezedic has got to not go too far out in front. All the time trying to pick the line, make sure her athlete is following her. And Kordic negotiating these turns well. And some good skiing from the Croatian. I think you can see the win there on that red gate that she just passed, and here how it's going up the hill here. So difficult conditions for one to contend with. And Kordic almost in sight of the finish. Just coming into the finish area now, about the 3 gates from home. Two minutes in the first run and down in 4:80.83, so slightly slower in the second run, but well done, Karla Kordic. So bib number 2 is Luisa Gruber and her guide Jordi Maurer, and their advantage over Kordic from the first run, 32.5 seconds, just over. They were 16 seconds slower than Votsa, the Italian leader, in the first run. And Gruber narrowly missed out on going to Beijing, so the aim is to be back here next year in Milan Cortina for the Paralympic Winter Games. Also spends the summer doing para climbing, and reached her first finals in the para climbing in Mexico. Good skiing. She was what, 1:27.51 in the first run, and she's 45 seconds quicker than Kordic at the 3/4 mark of the challenge. Skiing from Maurer. Yeah, so the para athletes actually like silence when they're racing. You'll hear there's no tannoy going on at the bottom, so they can hear. So although fans at the side are trying to encourage them, they don't actually want the shouting until they get to the bottom. The PA and music switched off so the athletes can hear and use all their other senses.
Al traguardo, un applauso per Luisa
And Gruber
insieme a
into the lead, 2:58.40. Martina Vozza of Italy, world champion silver medalist in downhill and Super G in 2023, so she'll be defending those later on this year. And great season so far, World Cup podiums, Team, Courchevel, Santa Caterina, across a number of disciplines, all with her guide Jelena Sabidusi. The two of them have been together since 2021, so a fantastic partnership between these two. And look what the combination, the trust that Vozza has in her guide. This is superb skiing. Martina Vozza, absolutely brilliant from her. And Vozza will take the win. Now straight into the standing, and this is Laura Streng of Austria. And Streng, third quickest after the first run. Had a couple of second places in FISU Slalom races in Austria in December. And also raced a GS in Leogang, Austria last weekend. 2 races, 5th and 4th. And Streng, 2:12.75 her split time. Of course, nothing to compare that with. She was 11 seconds slower than Martin Granitzo, who goes next. But Streng, the oldest of the 3 athletes in the sitting, in the standing class, with a 90% factor time. Good work from Streng. Now you can see hear the PA back up and playing the music, and 3:05.19 is the time to beat. Maria Martin Granitzo of Spain was racing in St. Moritz last weekend, 6th and 4th in those two. She was 8 seconds up at after the first run on Streng, and 19 seconds now, so get more good skiing from the Spanish athlete. Yeah, nice smooth stuff from Martin Granitzo. Here she comes, inside of the finish, 2 to go, and crosses the line, 24.41, the right side of the clock. So, podium for her. Aurélie Richard of France already won a gold medal here in the Super G, and 8 seconds quicker after the first run over Martin Granitzo. She's extended that to 10.06 now. Second in one of the 2 giant slaloms in St. Moritz. The last stop of the World Cup tour, and you can hear her chatting to herself on the way down. Good skills. She'll be down. 16.94. Richard will win a second gold medal here. Great skiing from her. So the first of the sitting skiers is Audrey Pascual-Secco. She's got to find 1.45 seconds from the first run over Nete Kirivanta. And here comes Pascual-Secco. second in the giant slalom in St. Moritz. The last stop, and then back in December in Courchevel, she was third behind Forster and Murawaka, two of the big names in the world of sit skiing. But she was second behind the athlete who's next out the start, Kira Vanta. So, as I say, this is the closest of the races in the women's para skiing. And that wind is going to mean that... Whoa, good recovery. Oh, she's still going. Oh, she just about stays upright. Hard in the mouth moment for Pascual Secco. Did really well to pull that one back. And over the line, 2:31.89. Slightly longer this second run. So here comes Nete Kiviranta of Finland. Well, that win she had in St. Moritz, I spoke about her first ever World Cup win. And look at the way she's skiing here. She looks full of confidence, and she's taken more time out of Pascual Secco. It was 1.45 up after the first run. And so far, this is brilliant skiing from the Finn. Very smooth. And doing a really good job on these bottom turns. Just a couple more gates to negotiate between her and a gold medal. And it is going to be gold for Kiviranta. 5 seconds quicker in the end. Well, she really skied that second run well. Votsa wins the women's vision impaired from Gruber and Kordic. In the standing, Richard from Martin Granizzo and Strang. And then Kiviranta, great ski from her, getting the better of Pascual Secco. So time now for the mascot ceremony. Another fantastic race. And another feather in the cap for Martina Votsa of Italy in the middle there. So now we move to the standing category for the women. It is Aurélie Richard of France, who was just too strong today. Second gold medal, having taken the Super G as well. And now it's the turn of the sitting athletes. And Nete Kiviranta is our champion here.